an unfortunate situation where a Burmese student was jumped out in front of one of the programs we were having. It was our mid-year academy. The student was walking from Grover. He was a student at Grover, and he was coming to the program after school, and he was walking to the site where we were having it. And right outside of the door, as he was coming in, he was jumped by a gang of kids outside of the school, and he was beat up pretty bad. We called the ambulance and we called the police to come in there and report it. When the police came, however long it took them to get there, but it wasn't in a timely time period. It took them a while to get there. They kind of nonchalantly just kind of strolled into the school that we were. Paramedics arrived a few minutes before that, and I was really taken back by the way that both the police officers and the paramedics treated Smiler and this Burmese student that was injured. And this young boy, who he was 15 years old, was sitting in a chair, and he was beat up, and he had a sizable lump on his head and some scratches on his face, but he was more shook than anything. And as a result of it, his body was shaking. He was just kind of shaking. He was nervous, and the paramedic came over to examine him, and he was trying to take his pulse and listen to his heart rate. And when he was having a difficult time because the student was shaking, he turned around to me and said, "Tell him to stop shaking." And I said, "Oh, this is Smiler. He's the translator. He can talk with him." So he said, "Oh, you're the translator? Sit down right there." And he ordered him to sit down like a dog. Smiler sat down, and he said, "Tell him to stop shaking. I can't take his pulse when he's shaking like this." So Smiler goes on to attempt to tell him this, and I stopped him. And I said, "He can't help that." I said, "Isn't the reason I said, the reason he's shaking is because he's either scared, he's hurt." I said, Can't you get your test done any other way without making him feel bad?" I was really angry. So then I looked at Smiler, and I asked Smiler, I go, "Ask him how he feels." So then the paramedic kind of threw his hands up, basically was giving me the impression that he wasn't going to treat him. So Smiler spoke with him. He spoke back and forth to the student, and he did say that he was scared. He said that his stomach hurt really bad. So then the boy did calm down, and Smiler was able to calm him down, and they were able to take his vitals and that, but he kept holding his stomach, and he kept complaining that his stomach hurt. So Smiler kept telling me, and I was telling the paramedic that he's complaining about stomach pain. So then the paramedic shared words with the police officers that were there, and they must have been some sort of inside little joke that they were talking about. But I kind of looked over at the group of them that were standing there, and I think one of the officers realized that I was upset, and he came over to me, and he started taking the information, and he said to me that it's getting really difficult on the west side because there's more and more of these people that are moving in, and we can't communicate with them. And I just looked at him and I said, "Well, that isn't the case here. We have a translator." The paramedic wanted Smiler and the student to sign a piece of paper stating that they refused treatment, when in fact that wasn't what happened at all. He was complaining about stomach. His stomach was hurting. And I said, "Can you take him to the hospital?" And his response back to me was, "Well, how's he going to get home?" So, and I said, "Well, there could be something wrong with him." And he said, "Oh, I think he's fine. He'll be fine. Here, you just sign here that you are refusing treatment." I said, "I'm not going to sign that, and I'm not going to let them sign that either. I really am concerned about him." So they left. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, this happened at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At 2 o'clock in the morning, he was taken by ambulance to the hospital and had contusions to his liver and his stomach.